Hi, everybody. It's Pam Atwood, and I am here today because I have a client who is dealing with a resident with some challenging behaviors. So, what we're doing is working with the facility to identify when she needs some interventions. Now, obviously, everything that we do in dementia care has to be customized to an individual. So, some of the things I'm going to talk about today might be appropriate for one client, but not appropriate for another. But the concept that I'm going to teach today is appropriate for everybody, including people without dementia. So, what we're going to talk about today is the progressively lowered stress threshold. And this is a theory that was created by someone else. I'll put a link in the information below. But it basically describes a concept about identifying when interventions are needed and at what point we should be um, supporting somebody to calm themselves down. One of the challenges that Alzheimer's and related dementias creates is that a person has a harder time self-soothing. I think we all know, it's like the mall at Christmas time will send me to the moon. It's just one of those things that stresses me out. And I get back in the car and I'm going, oh, peace. So a person with dementia can't identify what is stressing them out, and they can't find their car to go, oh, peace. So they need our support to do that. The stress threshold theory goes like this. So imagine, if you will, that we have our day along this axis and our level of stress that we can handle along this axis. Now, I'm cognitively well and I am pretty adept at managing my own behaviors and anger control, anger management, those kinds of things. I'm pretty good. So my agitation level is at a 10. I have to get pretty stressed to cross that threshold. Now, my stress threshold is an 8. So that's the dotted line that indicates people can tell I'm stressed. So let's say I get up in the morning. Now, I have a lot of pain from arthritis. So one of the things that I'm going to note right here is that I'm not waking up at a 0 or 1. I'm waking up somewhere between a 1 and a 2 because I'm feeling that pain. Now, I'm achy when I get up, but I take my shower. I feel a bit better. I start heading to work. I've got traffic, so my stress level is increasing. I get to work and oh my gosh, the state is in. Oh no. So now my boss is stressed. I'm stressed. We're all stressed. There's no lunch. We're skipping lunch. There's no self-care time. So now I'm really in that stress mode. It's 4 o'clock. My kids are calling, Mommy, what's for dinner? Na, 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 na. That's going to send me into that highly stressed area. So now I'm coming home now and I'm still stressed. I'm in the car though, so I'm a little more relaxed, but there's traffic and I'm getting cut off, so my stress level's going up. I get home and everybody's like, well, blah, 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 blah. I've got to get a softball and I've got to do this and where did you do that? And no one's fed the dog. Boom, now I'm agitated and I'm screaming, what's the matter with everybody in this house? I can't even get a moment's peace. Blah, blah, blah. I just got home. Now, because I've yelled, I feel a little bit better. That's my decompression. And I'm able to calm myself down and say, okay, life is not that tough. Everybody's going to, when God made time, he made enough of it. Whatever my mental mantras are to calm myself down. And I'm able to decompress as my evening goes on. Maybe I'm at a softball game, which is one of my favorite things to do with my daughter. She's playing, I'm watching, hanging out with the other moms, and I love it. Um, 10 p.m., I'm a little bit calmer. Now, what you also want to note here is that at the end of my day, I'm not totally calm yet. So I'm going to bed and I still need to decompress. And I hopefully will have a good enough sleep so that in the morning, I'm certainly no worse than I was this morning. Now, a couple of different things that I want you to notice about the next slide that I'm going to show you, the next piece of paper, the next graph I'm going to show you about 10 versus 8. All right, so a person with dementia has a much different chart. Yes, the day and the stress numbers on those axes are still the same. But number one, because they have Alzheimer's or another form of dementia, their stress threshold is lower. So instead of at a 10, it's at an 8. Their stress levels may be at a 6. The point is, it's a smaller window. For me, it was what? It was an 8 to a 10. It was pretty high, but you had more of a window before I was totally agitated. That person with dementia has a shorter window in here. They also don't usually start as low as we do in the beginning of their day. So they're waking up agitated. Maybe their roommate, or maybe they had a lot of pain. Maybe they didn't sleep well. They were up all night pacing, whatever it was, or they don't know their caregiver. So they're starting off the day much more stressed than we are. And their stress immediately goes up because they can't figure out what's going on. They aren't sure where their clothes are. They don't know where the bathroom is. Everything is confusing them. But let's say they get their medications, they have their breakfast, they go to their favorite music program. They're doing a little bit better. But then here we go, another big spike because it's lunchtime, and that's stressful. And they're sitting me with that crazy lady who's always talking to herself. And so I'm stressed now, and I'm visibly stressed. But then I eat and I go to my, afternoon exercise group or whatever, and I'm feeling a little bit better. But now it's sundowning time, and now I've crossed that threshold. Couple of things that I mentioned with people living with cognitive impairments. Number one, there's a smaller window here, and there's less activity that takes them to that point of agitation. More importantly, they spend a lot of their time living in this zone. It takes more to get them to calm down, to get back under that stress threshold. Just yelling or calling out or pacing isn't going to do it anymore. So now we have to help them maintain a much lower and stressful environment in order to keep them under here. And we're not even going to talk about this yet. So our goal is to keep them under this level. And what happens here with this level is that's where we need to introduce music, a rocking chair, something creative that they can do, maybe their art therapy. But once we see them starting to stress out, we don't want to put them in a lot of activities because that might be really stressful to them. Some people, like me, I love activities and I love being social. So for me, that activity might really calm me down. For someone who's more of an introvert, that might stress them out more. So you're going to have to play that and customize that person to person. But the point is that if that person has also an as needed medication, if nothing else is working, this is where we want to give them that PRN medication, not up here. It's too late. A PRN means it's as needed to keep them under this stress threshold. And you can talk to your psychiatrist or your treating physicians about this, but this is the kind of target that we want to go for, not to the point where they're agitated. Then we've given it too late. It's to prevent the agitation. And that is something that I think most people working in dementia care miss, that a medication is not a punishment for a behavior. A medication is a treatment to prevent a behavior. So we really need to look at what is our target goal for any intervention. If it's music, if you give music and they're still creeping up, then that's not enough, or the music's not a good enough intervention. We want to see this where it's they're in this threshold and they're coming down again. So that's what I wanted to teach folks about, to make sure that they're understanding a little bit about the progressively lowered stress threshold theory and how to use that to manage difficult behaviors, hopefully to prevent them. The key with good dementia management is to look at what's going on in the environment, control what we can to prevent those triggers to create agitation for individuals. Thanks for watching. I hope that you'll subscribe to watch a little bit more about dementia care in the future. And I hope that you'll join our mailing list as well at atwooddementia.group.com. And there's lots of other resources on the website as well. Thanks for watching.